Hi, welcome to Adventures in Glass with Doug. I'm in my new studio, which is still in the works. We have some things we want to do to tweak it, get the lighting just right, maybe finish off the walls a little bit, but it doesn't change the fact that I can still create some of my glass art. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you're a regular subscriber, glad to have you back. Let me explain what we're going to do here. In this channel, I do my version of glass art, taking different found pieces from thrifting and things that other people find in their attics and whatnot and pass along to me. We create some interesting sculptures. Some end up being bird baths, some are solar fountains, some have lights inside them, some are tabletop. Some have been flowers, some have been hanging pieces. I've got a number of those behind me. So we kind of go wherever the glass takes us, I guess. And it's always interesting to see what you can find. Let me just, before we jump into a project today, I want to show you some really cool things that I've thrifted and what might be coming up. The first piece, I couldn't resist this. It's probably too small to use for one of my solar fountains because it's not going to hold very much water. It probably can be a bird bath. It'll hold some water. It probably was designed to be a fruit bowl. I couldn't pass it up. It was a $7 item. It was not on senior day, but that's okay. I figured it wouldn't last until senior day. So I've got that piece. I'm really not sure where I'm going with that, but I couldn't resist. So we'll see. I have found another piece of what I've learned is carnival glass. You can see it sort of has an iridescent shine on it. Carnival glass was forged during the 30s and 40s. It was kind of used as a giveaway for carnival games of chance, and the finish has a lot to do with some of the extra minerals and salts that they used in the finishing process that give it that color. It was revived again, I think, in the 50s, so, and usually you see a mark on it. I don't see one on this, so this may be a more modern adaptation, or it could also be an applied finish. So, but it'll be a cute piece. It'll probably be used as a base this way. It's really going to be tricky because it is a textured surface, so we're going to have to make sure whatever we add to that stays put. Sometimes you'll find vases in the thrift shops that really are the result of a teleflora. This one was marked as teleflora or FTD special bouquet ordered. This has hearts on it, so it was probably a Valentine's special with a dozen roses or something in it. I thought it was interesting because it had the heart glass on it. Who knows where that's going to go. I couldn't pass this one up. It was marked $2, and it was senior day, so it would have been 25% less than that. It's not, and as I've said before, it's not a tinted glass that has been colored like this blue one is. That's been colored glass that is colored all the way through. This one has a tint finish applied to it, and one of the ways you can tell is it'll have little scratch marks and things missing. And actually it's unfortunate, but sometimes when you peel off the price label, you'll end up peeling off that finish. But I have my alcohol inks, and that's usually a recovery mechanism where I can take and I can patch in, try and approximate the color or just do a different design to kind of avoid that. You know, when you thrift this stuff, when you find it in the thrift stores, it's not going to be perfect, generally speaking. For instance, this one, I really love it, but if you were to look real close, it has a chip there and a chip there, which for my purposes doesn't bother me. It would if it was in your home and you didn't want those sort of things. I found somebody made the very good suggestion to use glass paperweights on the top of some of my pieces to kind of end them. And I agree, they're not something you can find very often. If it's glass, they're really very heavy, so you have to make sure they've got something sturdy underneath them. Like the piece I did with my the crystal that would rule them all. This, in taking off the price label, also peeled off a little of that finish. So this probably was just a clear glass globe that had that tinted finish on it. I don't think you'll notice that when I use it in something, but that's going to be cool. Interesting that I found this goblet. Now, when you get goblets like this, any drinkware, generally they are a tinted glass, so it's not an applied finish on those, simply because they would probably come off in the sink or in the dishwasher or as you're drinking, and you wouldn't want that. Hey, that could be interesting. Those colors almost go together. So, you know, I could do something that simple. Not sure. I will actually. That's also an interesting base that's got a lot going on in terms of like star spurs and stuff with it. That could also be a possibility for my crystal ball. I don't know. I found these globes, which are, I believe, is it the Japanese fishing net floats that you often hear about on the Pacific coast, washing up and whatnot. I got 3 of those, and they're going to be really cool with something, and they would be good toppers. But the same person must have given up a much larger one, which I can't wait to try and use this on something. Again, that would be a topper, but it needs to be cleaned up, and that should really be fun. So for today, one of our projects is going to be a repair that I need to make. If you look back in my videos, you'll see that I made this solar fountain for a friend, and her little dog loved it as it splashed water out, and he could kind of get up here and drink it. It has lights inside it that are activated by this sun. You could see, oh, there was a little bit of life in them. So this fountain piece had a nice blue bowl on the top of it where we had a solar fountain splashing out. Unfortunately, that was left out in the winter when we had a week of freezing temperatures, and the ice in that just shattered the bowl. So we're going to try and get some replacement on that. I have another pretty heavy-duty bowl that I think will work on that. But what I'm not too happy about is there's not enough color pop here. So I think I'm going to take the remaining part of the last bowl off of there, put this blue plate that I have on. It means I've got sort of a double plate there, but I think that'll work. And then put the bowl on top so that I still have a pop of blue. I had another choice I was not certain about, and that was, this probably won't sit on here very well because I haven't cleaned that off, but to put a piece like that and then the bowl on top of that. But this is a very heavy bowl, and I'm thinking that's a little too tipsy, maybe not strong enough. I love this, but I don't really trust it to hold that up. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the plate, I wonder, it might even be able to go, I may even be able to put the plate upside down, which means I would really need to seal it around the edge. I don't know if I want to do that. But if we only did it this way, it means there's going to be a lot of room in there for it to get kind of cruddy. So that's a repair. I also may, in this video, get around to repairing another piece that I have, which is this kind of red, white, and blue one. It had, I think it had a bell on the top of this that came off. It might have been part of my damaged totems that I had. So if I get that cleaned off, and I may have to take some alcohol ink on the red here and get that to pop a little bit more. When you're working with some broken glass or trying to repair some of these, please be sure you have safety goggles and gloves, because there are obviously some sharp edges. The joints that have been glued together with silicone will usually come apart pretty good if you get a razor blade or an X-Acto knife underneath and cut through the glass, or cut through the silicone to get to the lower glass. Now this was just a ring of silicone, so everything that was inside that has not been fastened down. Okay, I'm back, and I've changed my mind about the design of this. I really couldn't get that blue plate to work under here because it would have been a problem for debris, things accumulating underneath there, and I just didn't think that made much sense. So I've got a different punch bowl that we're going to put on top. The other punch bowl was surprisingly heavy, and I just didn't feel that it was going to work. So I reserve the right to make changes. Okay, we put a rim of silicone on this base, on the edge that'll match up against the other plate. You know, in silicone, as I've showed you in being able to clean it off, to me works just, that's why I love it, because if I have to make a repair, if I have to fix anything, I can usually undo it. Okay, we've got our punch bowl on top of our base, all cleaned up, took the other broken glass off, and we're pretty much ready to go. I think what I may do is just add some loose glass beads I have. Get some extra color. There's no sense fastening those down because you're going to need to clean those out when you clean out your water bowl from time to time, so we'll just leave it like that. And I think that'll give some nice color. Okay, so that's that project. That was a repair. Let's see what else we can get up to today. To make some repairs to this piece, which I think got nailed by one of the trees that I had in the backyard that came down, I'm going to take and refresh the red here with my alcohol inks. I have a tinted, sorry, I think it's depression glass, plate, and then what looks like a perfume type bottle that I think was from a previous one that had snapped off because I have one of my famous marbles on there. So I think that's what we're going to do for this one. So real quickly, we have alcohol isopropyl that usually works good to just kind of coat the surface of what you're going to put your alcohol ink on. And then you get your ink. When that dries, I'm going to spray that with a clear enamel, but again, not on the surface. It's going to be glued to the plate. because that'll peel off. We'll be back. While I'm waiting for that to dry, let's see if I can fasten these two together. Clear enamel just to spray a light coat on the alcohol ink. Okay, let's finish this one up. I think we've got it. So that one is now repaired, embellished a little bit, and looking good. We'll let it dry. Let's make a quick repair on this piece. The base had separated from the globe, and I think we can get that back together again. That was not something that I had fastened. That was the way it came from the manufacturer. What sometimes happens in these fused glass pieces is they just separate on their own, and some of them are really not meant to be in an outdoor setting where some of these things live for me. Trying to get that back to what was an original. Okay. That looks like it's fastened back again, but I want to add some color up here to this marble. I'm going to throw some alcohol ink on that. And, well, we've made some repairs today, and our first one was repairing the bowl on this solar fountain. We'll have to get it in operation as soon as everything's dry to show you that. We've replaced the upper part of this piece, got that going again, and the third one was this piece. It also was missing its top, and we did some alcohol inks to get that repaired and going again. So we've made 3 repairs. We have ideas for upcoming projects, and we'll try and do more of this later.